This is John. First of all, guys, I did a video of the sky last night because it being on Day of Atonement. Well, actually, I guess by the time I download this video, it'll be on the 28th, two nights ago, I guess, or 2 days ago. But it's actually just will be past 12 o'clock after I download it, probably. So it really will be 1 night ago. But it was last night on the 28th of, depending on when I get it downloaded. But the 28th of September on Day of Atonement night, it's about 10 o'clock at night or somewhere around there on September 28, 2020, just last night. And I took this video, and you can see it looks like 2 moons. But not only that, look how I prayed and asked Jesus. I said, Lord, please show me a sign in the sky that you're coming back soon to rapture your bride, the bride of Christ, and for your righteous judgment on this evil world, Jesus. And I prayed for that, and then I caught this on video. I want to show you how the moon looks. It actually moves like it's stretching out, and here it looks like 2 moons, but it's not a reflection, I don't think, or anything like that. Let me show you. Let me go ahead and start the video. Oh, I caught this strange phenomenon yesterday on the Day of Atonement on September 28, 2020. Now look also, if you can notice, on the original recorded device that I recorded on, I could make it bigger on this. Then I recorded from that device to the other iPad, and so I can't make it bigger now. But when I could make it bigger, see, do you see all these? I don't know if you can see. Do you see all those lights around the moon? Those look like holy angels, maybe that was around the moon. When I made it bigger, I could see it so clearly. I mean, it looks like it. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it looks like millions of, maybe millions of holy angels, maybe around the moon, getting ready to rapture the bride of Christ. It's just what it looked like when I could upsize it. I can't show you good from where I recorded it to another device, and it won't let me make it bigger like I could if I could have left it on my original device and then recorded off of it or something, or let you see my original video from up close and personal like the way I seen it. But it looked like maybe holy angels of God's getting ready, preparing to rapture the bride of Christ. And then I want you to see the rest of this, how this moon does. And look at the moon. It's literally moving around. Like, I prayed the Lord showed me something, and I didn't realize it was doing this when I was watching it. I said, show me something to give a sign that you're coming soon to everyone, so I can put it in my video, Lord. And it was about probably 10 o'clock at night on yesterday, September 28th, on Day of Atonement, or could be, it was Feast of Trumpets and Day of Atonement and Jubilee all in one. But I want you to see. Oh, sorry guys, my thing cut off. Bear with me just a moment. Let me get it back. Okay. Now watch this. I want to do it slow, okay? Let me back up a moment. Now watch the moon when I start going. Watch it. Look. Now I'm moving around some, making the video move, but look at the moon, how it's going out, in, stretching out. Watch it. Let me fast forward just a little bit so you don't have to watch where I sort of messed up there. Right there. Oh, whoops, I went a little bit too far, guys. All right. Right here's where it starts stretching and doing some weird things. Right there. See it? See? 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 I think that's definitely a sign from God. That's amazing. Thank you, God, for giving us this sign. I thought it was interesting on Day of Atonement, a full moon too, a bright full moon. But I've never seen the moon do this. That's weird. Look at that. Look at that. And at one point, it looked like there was a light above the moon, and I didn't get to get that on video. I ended up erasing it before I did it, and the moon moved up to the other light, and it became like one big light, a huge light, and it made like a bell shape, a huge bell shape when it connected the lights together, like maybe Planet X, or maybe, I don't know. It was strange, and guys, and now of course, the rapture didn't happen in Feast of Trumpets or the Day of Atonement that the man was looking for, but I always said that, most times said that I believe the rapture may happen on the true Feast of Trumpets, but it'll be different than the date that man's looking for by the Jewish calendar, because I believe it's off. I'll show you a video on that in just a minute, and it'll be on God's true calendar, Feast of Trumpets, maybe, maybe, which could be the 16th through the 18th October 2020, but now, I'm not setting no dates. I don't never set no dates. I didn't set no dates on Feast of Trumpets or Day of Atonement either. I just said that this is a great watch time, and we're to be watching for the Lord, and that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing. You guys are watching my videos, and I'm doing that. We're all watching for the Lord's return on this channel. So that's what He told us to do, is watch. So I don't set no dates, but I'm just saying from now to the 18th of October 2020 is a great watch time for maybe the true Feast of Trumpets. This guy has a lot of evidence showing it. Maybe the true Feast of Trumpets on the 16th to the 18th October. There's a lot that goes into figuring out the true feast dates. And the Jews have sort of got off of getting, when God took them out of the Holy Land, Israel, and they become scattered among other nations. They couldn't see the sliver of the new moon from Jerusalem, Israel anymore, and they come up with a calendar that was, not exactly true. And then they have to go by the barley harvest, ripeness of the barley harvest, and all kinds of other things too. There's ways to tell the stars. I'll show you that in this video coming up. But the true Feast of Trumpets could be the 16th, 18th through October 2020. Which would be a perfect time for the rapture, because nobody, only the bride of Christ will be watching during this time. Most likely in the world, Jesus would come on the world like a thief in the night, because they would done give up on the Lord coming, if they was watching at all, which most of them people was not. But they would done give up and say, well, Feast of Trumpets done passed, and then here it could be on a later date. And they could be just saying, well, it won't be till next year, and then it happened. On the God's true calendar time. God does everything in His own perfect timing. But also, guys, we got all kinds of these other things. People were having dreams about November being horrible. The pits of hell could open up October 31st. Dana Coverstone said a giant finger come down, pointed out and stressed the October 31st. There's a full blue moon. The saying once in a blue moon, well, once in a full blue moon on Halloween night, because it's a rare event. And that could be when the pits held for 5 months. A very good possibility. And then in November, Dana Coverstone said that the fist come down like maybe God's fist and slammed it and made it like explode the calendar in November, and like something bad happened. All the numbers from the calendar went all over the place, like showed up in 3D. So there's something bad coming, and where we had just had the Abraham Accord peace treaty that Trump signed with Israel and the other countries. So that could, I'm trying to look at something and talk to, that could also cause where he really split Israel, because he disallowed Israel and the peace treaty to not settle the West Bank, which split Israel. And everybody's having dreams now that God's going to split America with a great earthquake. It'll be divided down the Mississippi River, most likely, and be like 100-mile wide, they're saying, inland ocean, down the Mississippi River, so they won't be able to build a bridge across it. They're talking they'd have one capital, the two new capitals of the United States. One would, instead of Washington, D.C., it would be in Atlanta, Georgia, on the east side of the coast, because it would be split in two. And then one on the west coast would be in Denver, Colorado, the capital. And so that's going on too. So they're saying God's going to split America because He done that. He split Israel. Trump did. And all kinds of people have dreams about something horrible coming November. Somebody even said that we get attacked by Russia and China and invaded by them after they attack us with nuclear weapons in November. And I think Trump will win the election, and then it'll be all heck break loose because they won't let him get it, and then there'll be war in the streets and everything else over that too, I think. I was going to show you this. I might have to wait on this part of the video for a later time though, guys. Also, I seen where a woman had a dream. She said she was showed where the Lord showed her. I reckon, if I remember right, she said the Lord showed her where this brain-eating amoeba found in Texas City water supply. See up here, brain-eating amoeba found in Texas City water supply. A city in Texas issued a disaster declaration Saturday after a brain-eating amoeba was found in water supplies weeks after a 6-year-old boy died after contracting the microbe. She was showed that this water contamination would spread all over the United States and the world very, very soon. And she got a prophecy from the Lord on that. Take everything that I tell you, anybody tells you to the Lord yourself, and take it to the Lord in prayer yourself. To verify anything I tell you, anybody tells you, and ask the Lord about it if it was from Him. And also, let me start the videos. There's horrible things. People are having all these dreams of all these horrible things coming. So please be right with Jesus. That's all I gotta say. If you don't want to be facing His judgment, I'm telling you. You want to be on His good side when He comes, so He can go with you in the rapture. You want to be on the Lord Jesus, His good side when He comes, so you can go with Jesus in the rapture. So please get saved by Jesus. I want to start the video.
What I'm going to talk about next is from the book by Ken Johnson. It's called The Ancient Dead Sea Scroll Calendar and the Prophecies It Reveals. Something very, very interesting here from the ancient book of Jubilees. There's a prophecy in there that it says at some point the Jews are going to make this grave error of replacing their solar calendar with the lunar one. And here's part of that prophecy, and I'll just read it to you. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbeth the seasons, and cometh in from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason the years will come upon them, when they will disturb the order, and make an abominable day the day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean day with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only, and for this reason they will go wrong as to the new moons and the seasons and the Sabbaths and the festivals. And again, this is from the ancient book of Jubilees. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here, but here's kind of the conclusion. The Dead Sea Scrolls describe how God created one calendar, and that the Jews kept it pure down through the ages until the time when the Greek Seleucid Empire forced the nation of Israel to adopt their pagan lunar calendar. They also record a prophecy that this will recur, and that was what the prophecy we just read. The Maccabees rose to power and restored Israel's independence, but never restored the original solar calendar. So therefore, if this Essene history is correct, Israel has been using a forbidden pagan version of the calendar for well over 2,000 years.
So the Feast of Trumpets could be at a later date, and I want to show you this video. This is a very interesting video. Make sure you watch all of it.
Encouraged himself.
Okay, let me get it to the right place. You will want to see this, guys.
העומר, כמו שכתוב בתורה, וקצת לכם, מפורת השבת. נתנו לכם חלק מהשם. זאת פה.
Good mornings, everyone. 16-18 October is the biblical 7th month Feast of Trumpets for 2020, and today I'm going to give you the proof of that. You've seen that video insert that of the barley and also of the wheat, that it was not ready for the occasion. The first moon, the sighting of the new moon, and that also I'm going to discuss that, the new moon, people going on now to say that the full moon is the new moon. I'm going to do that in the next video, and I'm also going to prove to you that the full moon is not the new moon. So they were not ready for the first moon. The barley was not ripe. The first fruit barley was not ripe at the sighting of the first new moon. That was 24th of March. So they had to put it, place the 13th Adar in there to extend it. But yeah, okay, so 18 October is the biblical 7th month Feast of Trumpets for 2020, and I'm going to prove this to you. But, okay, let's carry on, and here is the first proof that I had. Now, many people do not watch the complete video, and I mentioned this part in the last part of this video. And here is the clip. I did not change anything. I did not edit it. You can actually click on that button there, and you can see the editing dates and everything else. Somebody accused me of editing it or put something else in there. That is not the case. Yeah, Virgo and Leo, the beginning and the end, Feast of Trumpets. In this video, I said we're going to discuss the following. Virgo and Leo, the beginning and the end, the rapture of the bride will occur at Feast of Trumpets at God's day and hour. Amen. And then the illustration of the stellarium. The stellarium proves.
Now this is one guy's opinion. I'm not saying that. I'm not setting a date. I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure on Feast of Trumpets. It's a good chance it could, a very good chance it could on the God's true calendar, on the true Feast of Trumpets and God's perfect timing. Trust me, it'll be the perfect timing when the Lord Jesus comes back, and when God sends Jesus to come and get the bride of Christ and pour His righteous judgment on this evil world. It'll be in God's perfect timing. So just know it could happen, this Feast of Trumpets, the true Feast of Trumpets, which he's showing could be on 16th through 18th October, but it could happen after that, before that, or anytime, you know. But this is just this guy's opinion, so understand that. I'm not going to say any dates, but it's a great watch time. Also, now through the 16th through the 18th, well, now through the 18th October is a great high watch time, extremely high watch time. Because I really do believe that it might be this year that the Lord might come back for the rapture and to pour His righteous judgment on this evil world.
Proves that 17 October 2020 is Feast of Trumpets, and I said that on the 4th of February. I discussed this matter with Mike Porch and also with Len Hummel. And
so he just said the stellarium proves that 17 October 2020 is Feast of Trumpets.
He said, yeah, I saw you that you said that October could be the Feast of Trumpets. But having said that, you, the lone wolf, saying that October is the Feast of Trumpets, that's not gonna work. So I went with everyone else, although I checked the calendar months and it showed the September the 7th month, but because the barley wasn't ripe, they needed to place a 13th Adar in that to do that. And I think in 2011, 2 witnesses turned up at the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem, and they declared, believe it or not, that was 2011, they turned up and they said that the barley is not right, according to the biblical standards. So who was it? Two witnesses. People were still baffled about that 2011 incident. Having said that, here is the first proof. I already said that in February. But let's go on. I'm going to show you the candle. I'll hold it, the menorah now. And I want you to have a good look at the fifth candle is about to be lit on Feast of Trumpets. Passover has been fulfilled. Unleavened bread has been fulfilled. First fruits has been fulfilled. And Shabbat, Pentecost has been fulfilled. The next one to be lit is the fifth one. And those that say here it will happen at the Atonement, you're completely wrong. Even tabernacles will only be fulfilled when we come into the millennial reign with Christ. We cannot have a rapture there. God is a God of order, and He always works in sevens. And you can see there, it's stipulated on time. He fulfilled the first four in order, not out of order, in order. And the next one will also be in order. So Jesus is coming 2020 on Feast of Trumpets. As I'm saying that to you. And I've been praying over this, seeking God's face concerning this matter before I made this, doing this video. So this is the scenario. Jesus must come on Feast of Trumpets to fulfill the fifth candle holder. Now, clear that I did the video on this, and this was the insert of the previous video from the...
Okay, let me get it to the next section, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Stopped a little bit soon.
Jesus, Yeshua, was talking to Sarah. That was in a vision, of course. And he showed her that the next one, candle holder to be lit, is the fifth one on the menorah. So I believe that word is true.
Okay, now let me get it to the next section. I only have so much memory, so I'm showing you the most important parts.
All the candles.
I need my magnifying glass. I can't see. Bear with me, guys.
Prophetic pictures of Jesus, the Christ's first and second comings, are reflected in the seven branch menorah. In fact, the seven branch menorah is a personification of Jesus the Christ. Yeshua, the light of the world, as such, each branch of the menorah equal each of the seven feasts. Also the seven churches, for that matter, which means that both the feasts and the branches are definite prophetic signs about the redemptive ministry of Jesus Christ. The feast, the church of God must come in line with the God's feast, because the feast of God is His redemptive plan for mankind. It is about harvest, and it is barley, it is wheat, and it is grapes. You can read that in Leviticus 23. If every one of the church members had knowledge and understanding of God's feast, there would have been no...
You can stop and read that if you didn't read that.
...squabble about mid, post, and pre-tribulation, because that is about the barley. That is about the harvest. Okay, so let's carry on. Right of the center of the branch are three branches that symbolize the three feasts that deal with Jesus, the Christ's second coming. The first of these three branches is the branch of the Feast of Trumpets. This is the next one that needs to be fulfilled. Cannot be in atonement unless there is a jubilee here. But
okay, now let me skip another little section. Okay, see guys.
Okay. Branches and the feast signify the rapture of the bride of Christ. The next branch is Feast of Atonement, which Jesus will fulfill when on the 120th Jubilee, as I said, and then Feast of Trumpets will be moved to Feast of Atonement. Okay. Both the branch and the feast signifies the visible body return of Jesus Christ. The last branch is the Feast of Tabernacles. Both the branch and the feast.
If you need to stop that and read that again, I'm sorry, guys. It's hard for me to get it on the screen. You can stop that and read it right now if you want to.
Signify the beginning of the millennial reign, the seventh branch, when God will fulfill His redemptive plan for salvation plan for mankind. Yeah, so here the sun and the moon were appointed by Yahweh, God for.
Okay, let's see. I think I went a little far. Let me get to the next section, guys. I apologize.
Unfortunately, in the 4th century, rabbis Babylon polluted Yahweh's sacred calendar by introducing the continuous week and postponements to prevent certain days from clashing with the Saturday Sabbath. Yeah, that Saturday Sabbath is not God's Sabbath day, which they had created. When Hillel II introduced these changes, not all of the religious leaders of the Jews went along with it. In fact, a large number of the leaders continued to observe the new moons by observation, as was done in Yeshua's day. Finally, the word season appears at first glance to be the 4 radical weather shifts each year, as I already explained to you. Yeah, okay, that's it. Pause now. The date, let me just go back a frame there. There are several requirements to determine Passover and Feast of Trumpets. And that, of course, is the green ears, or called Abib. And now I'm going to show you. Stay with me right till the end. Do not switch over there. Otherwise, you're going to miss some very important detail. Okay, now the green ears of bit that is the first, that's this insert of that clip that I showed you the first time. Now, Man-Child Ministries made me aware of that I got that links from him, and I'm thanking him for that. In order to calculate the correct months of Jehovah's calendar and therefore the correct holidays, the following information is necessary. Now, the date and time of Tishri is the autumnal equinox in Jerusalem. That must be it, and of course the 20th happened before the autumnal equinox, which was on the 23rd of September. That cannot be the case, and I will show you another one that. Okay, I'm coming to that. Let me put it to that like that. Let put it go. Now, here's another one. The date and time of the first visible presence of the new moon in Jerusalem, that is indicator. The local time of Jerusalem sunset is important. Verify that the Pleiades, as I said earlier, Pleiades and Aries is a very important sign for planting and the harvest and harvest the harvest as such. That should be verified, to the first new moon after the vernal equinox. If not, a 13th month must be added or inserted into the calendar. Venus, this is a very important sign. Venus must be in conjunction with Regulus in Leo first, before first Feast of Trumpets. I went through several of them, and Venus always appears, especially in the previous one, Venus always appears first. But, however, I have to say that on the 20th of September, Venus did not appear. Venus only appeared on 2nd, 3rd of October. So Feast of Trumpets did not happen yet, people. And I'm going to illustrate that for you in the stellarium in a moment's time. Now, as I said, the ancient Jews had not no almanacs or telescope to determine when the lunar conjunction would occur. They had no choice but to use the visible crescents. Revelation 12, 1-5 relates, there appeared a great wonder in the sign in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. That, of course, happened 23rd September, and the moon under her feet. And I have to say that Venus appeared just 2 days earlier. Was in conjunction with Regulus. That's 2 days earlier on 2017. Okay. Yeah, and she brought forth a man-child. This is the constellation Virgo, when the sun passes, listen to me, crosses through her body in mid-October. There's always a time, it should always pass her body, the midsection of Virgo, and that is normally in the mid of October. In the early days, in Jesus' days, a close proximity was September. But as time moved on, it shifted. The exact time of the Feast of Trumpets in many years. Now, that's another point. What about the green ears, as I mentioned earlier? Should we use green ears or the equinox to determine the new year's day? Yeah. The sun makes the barley ripen, not the other way around. From the time of Adam to Noah, that was, of course, 1,656 years. Green years could not have been used, and springtime existed continuously. There was only spring in those days when Adam lived. That was until the 1600s. Water vapor cannot be covered the entire earth in those days. Now, let me show you. This is a picture how the first fruit barley should be look like. And you all saw that was totally green. You could not have declared the first moon, then it should have been done, moved forward to April. The first moon, when they declared it, was this year, was 24th of March, so they should have moved it forward to April, and then they counted that as the first month of the moon. So October 1617 is the legitimate one. Following the flood, seed time and harvest, cold, heat in summer and winter, Genesis 8 was to began. The earth axis shifted 23.4 degrees from the vertical, creating the seasons. Also on board the ark, Noah was not able to examine the barley feast in Israel, Genesis 8:13, or anywhere else for that matter. Therefore, you must have used the equinox to figure, or Aries to figure out the holy days. Or Pleiades for that matter. Jehovah, God says, I change not. And that is in Malachi 3 verse 6. Following the escape from Egypt, the Israelites were led in the wilderness for 40 years in Deuteronomy 29:5, without having the opportunity to examine the Bali in Palestine. Palestine was occupied by the hostile Canaanites. Apart from this, the barley is variable. It ripens fast in warmer latitudes than in colder areas farther from the equator. Also, the barley ripens faster in the valleys than on the mountains. What about the southern?
Let me fast forward this just a little bit, guys.
Exodus 23:15 and 34:18 all state that the moon must be of the green ears. Not before that. There had to be enough barley developed for the wave sheaf. Deuteronomy 16 says, observe the month of Abib. What does it mean? That, of course, is when the barley is observed. When the barley is still green, and then you observe it until the first fruit barley is ripe, and that you do, and then you declare the first moon cycle, the first new moon. That's it, and that's not a full moon, by the way. It is the new moon. I'm going to give you another video to prove that to you. Now, should the new moon, I did that. Now, Exodus 15, thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee in the appointed of the month Abib. What is Abib again? That is for when the green gears, when the barley begins to ripen. That you need to observe that. For in it thou comest out of Egypt, and none shall appear to me empty-handed. And when you observe God's feast, there are 7 blessings to God's feast. You can read about the 7 blessings God gave us if we honor his feast. Okay, this is a time frame when Jesus was born. And if you look at there, the moon is right under the feet, and this is the time when Jesus, that is the moon. That was the right down. You cannot argue with the heavenly sign. There's a slither of the moon. That is a slither of the moon, and Jesus was just born right after 18 hours. That is the time when he was born. So here you have that Jupiter and Regulus were in conjunction. Venus already conjunct with Regulus just prior, and that was in the 8th month. Yeah, so here you find Venus, Mercury. Mercury always need to be present in Virgo also to declare a Feast of Trumpets. And the sun most of the time is in the midsection. And that happened to be in October. So it must come after the equinox. Okay, so here is the moon at the feet. Now if you go back to, let's go back to 2020. And there you will go to the 18th. And there you see the sun was very high up. Here was the moon. Of course, the moon only came then on the moon was only, just good. Yeah. The moon was only on the 19th at that was, of course, midday. If you go, that was at midday. The moon was at Virgo's feet. So here you see, where is Venus? Venus is still high up. Venus should pass Regulus before you announce a Feast of Trumpets. And that, of course, did not happen. Do you see my point? Let's look at 2017, when what Slim appeared. That was a legend. That was a legal Feast of Trumpets on that day. Let's go to the 23rd. And there you see, there's Venus. Venus just passed Regulus. just 2 days prior. Just 2 days prior. Let me go back. So it was in conjunction with, what's his name, on the 20th. On the 20th with Regulus. There you can see Venus was in conjunction with Venus on the 20th. Can you see my point? Yeah, and I can show you all previous conjunctions that Venus appear first before you can declare a Feast of Trumpets. So only on the 3rd of October, and that is now the 17th, let's go back to 2020 again. 2020, the 10th month, yeah, and that happened to be on the 17th. And Mercury is still in Virgo. Mercury is still here to declare a Feast of Trumpets. And then you see Venus is already passed. And it should not have taken place. There is the ultimate picture for you. There's Venus, of course, it's after. Now, Venus was lying above Regulus when they declared Feast of Trumpets. Okay, so that is my Bruce and my viewpoint. Jesus must come on Feast of Trumpets to be fulfilled. So that is my story. Please share this video and do not be discouraged. Jesus is coming.
Let's see here. Sorry, guys.
It must be fulfilled. It cannot go beyond 2021. And Daniel's timeline will not work. Daniel is accurate it cannot dispute that. That is a message from God given to Gabriel.
Now, I don't know what he's talking about, Daniel, whatever he said there, but I don't agree with everything he says, you know. But he's making a good point for that the rapture could happen during a true Feast of Trumpets, which is, he's saying, the 16th through 18th October. It could. I mean, it's a very high watch time now through the 18th October 2020.
Gabriel to tell Daniel when Jesus appeared the first time, and that happened to be 27 AD. And you count 2,000 years to it. 40 Jubilees is 2,000 years. And Jesus came in the 80th Jubilee. And 2,000 years, 27 is 2027, minus the 7 years deducted from that, from 2027 is 2020. It must happen in 2020, people. That's all that I have. Love you all. Do not give up. There's already people going back in their normal syndrome. Keep watching. Jesus is coming. God.
I love you all, guys.